All right, so this one is something has broken and given way that has allowed the room to fall all the way out of the top. All right, so this is basically like what you would consider a catastrophic failure of the Schwintek system, whereas the weight that's in it, the refrigerator right here, which has greatly contributed to when that failed up top and it kind of ran through the teeth. It just, instead of the teeth grabbing and holding, it just kind of ran past it. And so the room is in a lot at the bottom, but out, it has fell out. And when you go on the inside of the unit, the only thing that's holding it in is the fascia board. So what we gotta do is we gotta support the room with jacks, because the H-column assemblies have to come out to get the room in, because they only turn together. When you push the top, the bottom will want to move too. And because it's so far out, which these are never out, the system is designed to be perfectly aligned top to bottom. So you basically have to take out the whole H-column assembly just to get the room to get back straight. So at the bottom, we're gonna support it, multiple jacks, and then on the inside, we'll have to take all the screws out to get the H-column assembly out of this unit to keep this room from falling out. So this is what you got. As you can see, the only thing that's holding the room in is that top fascia board, which is normally the case, you know, when you're working on these things. But the bottom is out more in the front, and because the way this is designed for synchronous movement, it's got to take the H columns out just to get the top to go back in, and then the resyncing procedure will have to be taking place when you put the new H column assembly in. So that's what we got. So if you guys have any questions on why we had to do what we had to do to get this like stable, we cannot rely on that piece of board to keep the slide in with all of this weight in here. So it's going to take an extensive amount of work to kind of get this stable. All right, so got to get this fascia board off in order to get to the screws holding the H column in from the inside. And because they like to put this glue in here instead of just using the brads, oftentimes this is gonna crack up and break when you take that off. So a lot of times this will involve replacing that. And I'll try to, so the main part that's holding this in is the board like this that's behind this fascia board. The fascia boards will have to come off, at least this half, and then it's the board like this that's screwed into the aluminum that's actually holding this in together. So let me finish taking this all apart so I can get at my screws back here to get this off. Kind of racing against the clock here. Now you can see a bit better of what's going on. You can see there's been a failure in this dry block assembly. The wheels have come off, and you can see the rust that's in it. Maybe it's been failing for a while, and looks like the channel is deformed and the dry block is kind of stuck in there and it's not moving anymore. And actually, I thought I saw a crack, but it's not cracked. So I gotta get this out, get this whole H column assembly out and try to push this back in. All right, so we got one side done, and I keep wanting to think that I can just push the other side in, but because it's parallel and the top is 10 inches out more than the bottom, it would just bind it because it's already bound. The spur gears are both going to turn with the shaft. The torsion shaft is already bent, and it's just a nightmare scenario. So I gotta tear all this apart so we can get to these screws there and there that hold the H column assembly in. and take this one out and then finish. Okay, so I just found something as I was taking this apart. Of course, the long screws is what hold the big board to here. That's the structural stuff. And then this H column is held on with brackets, which is why you have to remove all of this stuff to take the H column out. Now, as you can see, the bracket here is lined up with the H column and the holes go right through. But when I come to the bottom, I notice that the bracket that is screwed it in, it's not even in the bracket, which is weird. So that's something that they did at the manufacturer, to where this is not even screwed into the bracket here. I don't know why they did that. That's definitely not normal install. Either the wall is cut funny, or somebody just messed it up, or whatever. But it's normally gonna be like that, not like that. So at the end of the day, after you remove the H columns, after I did it, if you're having to do this, if you have this failure, you have to remove the H columns and then you can get your room back in. There is no other way to do this. You will be removing the H columns.